This is Sarah Kizak with Boston Reviews. I'm here with some of the cast and director of Brotherhood, and I'm going to be asking them a few questions.
Freeze! I'll put you front out! Put it down! Put it down! No! We're not gonna lose. Guys like us don't fucking lose.
First of all, love the movie.
Oh, yeah! Yeah! Thank you.
Just disclaimer, I was a sorority girl, so I was very critical of the movie. Having met a few frat boys in my time, that was like 10 years ago.
How did that go?
First of all, what was the research like for your roles as frat boy or
Store clerk.
He worked at a gas station for 3 weeks before the movie.
That's not true. I was gonna go with it. I was gonna go with it.
I actually believe you.
I mean, I had the apron. I purposely wouldn't say good morning to people, you know, and just kind of do my own thing. Not let people touch the magazines. It was amazing.
I force-fed a lot of actors beer. Amongst many other things.
During the hazing rituals that he...
There was a lot of hazing before we started shooting the movie.
Yeah.
To get in the mindset. He got hazed plenty.
That was our rehearsal, really, was getting into the environment of living in kind of hierarchy and having to abide by the rules and be degraded for, you know, and make you feel like you're nothing so that we'll go through this initiation rite of being a part of the fraternity, which is what the whole basic thing is about. And they're just trying to do that.
The idea really came from, like, if you know, guys are going to be in a war movie, you know, like Saving Private Ryan or something like that. They'll do a boot camp to get, so the actors learn how to fire a gun and take a hill and do all these sorts of things. And so I called John and said, hey, we should do this kind of thing for this movie to let the guys really fall into the roles. And I think it really helped. And I thought it was great to see them sort of just kind of start to kind of fill those kind of positions in the group.
It was essential to do that, to kind of play in that sort of way before we started shooting, to create some sort of bonding experience. And a lot of us were previously friends before we shot the film. So how do you go into a movie and see your buddy who you've known for so long be a pledge, not a brother yet? You know, so we were creating that kind of dynamic with each other before we started shooting.
And when Doug and I were writing the film, we did a ton of research. I mean, we talked to as many people as we could who would talk to us about their being in fraternities, people who loved the experience, people who hated the experience, and sort of everyone in between. And then I actually went and spent some time with a fraternity at a school that will remain nameless. It was in this state. And a fraternity that will remain nameless, but they were nice enough to let me hang out with them while they were putting their pledges through the first sort of stages of initiation. And I was shooting video, and they were letting me hang out. And then at a certain point, they said, "You gotta turn the camera off. You gotta get out of here." And then at the end of that semester, those gentlemen were kicked off of their campus. So I knew that I had sort of found the right guys to be researching and to be hanging out with.
So did you guys go to any frat parties or anything like that?
Oh, we've been to plenty.
That was my college experience, my friends' college experience. All my friends in New Jersey went to like Rutgers and stuff like that, so all I would do was party with them when I was home. And that was plenty of credit for this film.
All right. I was really impressed with just the level of tension and adrenaline that had to be kept up through the entire film. What did you guys do as actors to like keep up that?
Yeah, we did it. a lot of that.
That's like the whole time. Honestly, it was like we were going to go play a big game or something like that.
Yeah.
It was just intense.
It was also the environment really, lent itself to us for that. It was super hot, and there was a lot of testosterone, and we were shoved into small spaces with each other, and we were sleeping during the day and filming at night. So we were all on edge to begin with.
Plus, we had to match each other's energy.
Yeah.
You know, like, because what you brought to the table was crazy. You know, you had crazy energy. You know,
People hate you.
No, and I think had to step up and kind of match that. And it was a push-pull throughout the whole movie with the energy and the power shift and all that. Yeah.
There was a lot of Red Bull being passed around.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't think anybody hated you more than I did though.
At
that time.
Really? I think my parents hated me a little bit more.
What's great too is to see people coming to John like after screenings and stuff, and they're like nervous to walk up to him. Like,
True, yeah.
Is he really like this, or is he nice, or like?
They'll look at me,
Don't yell at me.
like, don't talk to that guy. And that was really most fun for me was playing somebody like that. I'd never gotten a chance to play anybody like that before, and he gave me the opportunity to do it, and it was difficult at times to yell at your friends like that because, like I said, we have history with each other, so it was hard to get there, but in the end it was super fun. It was really fun to play that kind of person.
And we kept up that energy because Will was always on our ass.
Yeah, he was
at all
always
times.
on us.
His biggest note, and like the note, we'd always make fun of him because we'd be like, "What? Take up the energy?
Yeah. Bring it up.
Because that's
Bring
what
it up.
he needed to keep.
Bring it up. And
telling us.
he was
keep
right.
it up.
A lot of the times you'd kind of settle down, you'd want to do a scene a little bit calmer because you're like, I'm screaming the entire movie. In your own mind, you have no outside perspective. He's like, forget it, bring it up, bring it up. And it worked well.
Great. So for you, well, how did you come up with the story? I just read in the production notes that this came from a short story, but how did you develop the story and come up with it?
Sure, it was so I was in film school at NYU. Grew up in Arlington, and I had to make a short film for my junior level production class there. And so for some reason I was just really interested in the process of getting into a fraternity. I had a number of friends who I'd grown up with who were at schools where the Greek system was really big, and they were now joining fraternities. And so I was just really interested in why someone would go through this process, because it's a really challenging process, physically, psychologically, to do it. And I was also a little bit impressed that people were willing to go through these rites and passages that were so challenging, in the same way that like joining the military or going through boot camp would be sort of a challenge. So I was just interested in that dynamic. I started sort of picking the brains of all my friends to learn about their experiences. And a friend of mine who was at Baylor at the time said, there's this one thing, supposedly it's never happened, but here it is. And he sort of gave me sort of the original idea for the film, which I turned into the short. And then with the short film did pretty well on the festival circuit, won some awards, eventually was bought by Showtime. And it was just, my writing partner Doug Simon and I just kind of kept going back and forth about it. And it was, we finally had some things that really got us excited to say, we think we can take this little 8-minute short film and turn it into a feature, spend the whole night with these guys, really delve into who these guys are as characters and get to know them a little bit better. And it's just something that got us excited is when you're starting a screenplay, that's the most important thing. It's such a difficult process. So you need things that get you really excited. That's kind of what we found and was able to kind of get us going.
So no frat experience personally for you?
No, I did. I was an athlete growing up. So I played college basketball. So it was sort of always around kind of like guys in groups, and there was a little bit of hazing stuff, and growing up playing sports. But certainly nothing that rises to the level of anything that these guys go through in the film, and I'm very thankful for that.
Yeah.
I would rather have a very exciting film and a very boring college life than the opposite.
Sorority life's a lot different. Not as much hazing. Would have gotten kicked off campus.
Sure.
But would each of you, if you had a son, went to college and wanted to join a frat, would you let them?
Whoa. Who first?
Not me. I'll go first. I would say I think in college I think you gotta let your kids choose their own way. Yeah. I think you gotta teach them how to think, not what to think, and let them know the pros and cons, and then they gotta make their own decisions and live with it.
Yeah.
If they want to get branded, I don't know if that's cool. I don't know if
I would say yes. Because I think going through something like that, you kind of decide if you want to. You can stop. You know what I mean? If it's too much, you can stop. You don't have to go through with it. But if you do go through with it, then it's obviously something that you're very passionate about, and you care about these guys around you, and you're going to move forward with it. So to each his own.
Yeah.
Why not?
How about you?
I'm going to go with what Will said. They got to find their own way.
Yeah.
If it suits them, it suits them. If it doesn't, I had friends that were in fraternities, and they were really great fraternities, and then I had other friends that were in nightmare fraternities that I would never want my kid in. But hopefully they'll pick the right decision.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I was going to say, is that they're not all at all like this movie. This movie is an extreme version of an extreme fraternity. So there's some really good parts to being in a fraternity.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that's what draws people to it initially, right? I mean, aside from having fun and hanging out, you kind of learn the benefits of it.
Yeah.
Being a family.
That's right.
Well, there's so many, talk to so many guys who, they graduated, 10, 20, 30 years ago, and they're still, like, so tight with their fraternity buds. I mean, they really are, they're there for each other. And you hear great stories like that, and that's such the positive side of it. And thank goodness that, that people get that kind of fulfillment out of it, I think that's great.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of being treed? Just as a level.
I did that last night. I have no idea what that is.
What is that?
We would love to know. We would love to know what that
What
is.
is it?
Yeah.
Being treed is usually when a frat boy gives a sorority girl their pin or their lavalier, and their frat boys will then take them somewhere. It happened to on my sorority lawn one time. Tie them around a tree, and then pour all kinds of disgusting crap all over them.
It reminds me of something.
Old milk, meat.
We stole that. We stole that idea.
I don't think we had anybody who was treed though. I think they were
Probably being
benched.
benched.
No, we treed.
Oh, you treed somebody?
Don't you remember
That was a
treed
Tyler
Tyler
against
against
the
the tree? We pulled him. That sounds way worse.
Got people getting treed, pulled, benched.
Yeah, I don't know. They got to be treated.
They put
No, wait, so the guy does this to the girl?
No, the frat boys do it to the frat.
To the other
their
guy.
mother.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not to the girl.
Well, we
That's
did
what I
that.
thought she said. I heard you say that the guy gives the girl the pin, and then he ties it to a tree. And I was like,
Caveman
wow,
style.
okay.
Caveman
Yeah.
style.
So when you do that, you gotta be prepared for a treeing, apparently.
After
Yeah,
the
you're right.
training, after they covered us in crap, they put us in the back of a pickup truck and drove us through a car wash.
Yep.
It was terrible.
So our research was correct.
This is the last thing. I was looking up your bio and I was trying to find you. I was like, that guy doesn't look anything like the guy in the movie because your hair is all different and everything. Did you do that for the movie?
It wasn't actually him.
That was me in the movie. It was a stunt double. I change a lot, I guess. I don't know. I really believe in people not really knowing who the actors are playing the characters. I know that when I go see a movie, if I don't know who it is, I believe them more. That's it. I just believe them more. So as much as you can get yourself into the character by being able to look in the mirror and see a different person, be able to play a character, it's also just for the audience to believe it easier. You're just giving them easier time to make a story, something that's fantastic, rather than, oh man, that actor is cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally. Well, that's all I got.
This is so
Want to
fun.
say anything to our audience? Boston reviews?
Don't get treed.
Don't get treed.
If a pretty guy gives you his pen, it's trouble.
Don't take it.
Give it back.
And come see our movie because it's fun.
Yeah.
That is
It
fun.
really is.
We'll be
See
hanging
it in the
out.
theater.
Oh yeah, and it's February 18th, this Friday at the Angelica Film Center in Dallas, and it's nationwide on video on demand. Check your cable provider. It's on TV in in theaters now. Boulder, go see it. It's in LA next week.
That's right.
That was a mouthful.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.